This video is an hour long coming up. It is a long video, but if you want to get your head around timing, note values and how it all fits together, I just ask you to bear with it till the end, and it will be an hour well spent. If you're wanting a silver bullet or something really quick, this isn't it. This is a 1 hour video. I've spent quite a lot of time putting it together, and I think it kind of should hit the spot if you're interested in getting the basics of this all in one place. 1 hour, that's what this video will take. So either enjoy it or go and watch something else, because it might not be an hour you want to spend, but I don't think you'll regret it. Signatures and tempo, the noteness of note types. So there's this breathe, and he walks into a bar, as whole notes tend to do. He pays a quarter note for a beer, pays his entry of a whole note, and takes a look at the dress code. Tony's bar. Men no shirt, no service. Women no shirt, free drinks. Well, he soon had a semi-breathe when he noted after a minim that he may have half a chance with the very cute crotchet at the bottom quarter of the bar. He was all of a quaver, especially when he noted that she was with her friend. Oh, and some friend too. All of a sweet 16th, double the trouble. Semi-quavers all round. Well, it took the crotchet all of a 32nd to note that the dirty old demi-semi-quaver was hitting on her. You must be at least 64. I know a hemi-demi-semi-quaver when I see one. If I miss a beat whilst playing in 3, would you count in 4? Will you still need me? Will you still squeeze me when I'm 64? The point being that the notes all have names, and the names correspond to different divisions of time. Time signatures and tempo, rhythms. It's about patterns, and we name those patterns for different things. And I'm using an analogy of the music notes bank. So welcome to the music notes bank. There you have our piggy bank of notes, different values of notes, and our currency is time. Our currency is tempo. It's number of beats per minute. That's the time for us. Time is money. Time is tempo. The value of our notes, the different divisions, the pounds, shillings and pence, or the dollars, quarters, dimes and cents of our time are basically reference back to tempo or beats per minute. So here's the only paper money note that we have in our bank, and it's the whole note. Now the interesting thing about the whole note is it's called a semi-breathe, semi denoting half. I asked this question of a friend the other day and looked it up as well, and there is such a thing as a breathe, and a whole note actually lasts for 2 whole notes, or a breathe is 2 whole notes. A whole note is called a semi-breathe, so now you know. But this is our basic unit of currency, and that is the whole note, otherwise known as the semi-breathe. Our next unit of currency is the half note, which is the which you'll see in a, but it's got a hollow round bit at the bottom. So the half note, and then the next unit of currency is the quarter note, which you see here. There's your quarter note, which is the black note with the stem on it. We can get change out of our half note, or out of our quarter note. We get two eighth notes back for a quarter note. Here's our eighth note coin. You can see it has the flag, which distinguishes it as our eighth note coin. And then two flags is a 16th note. So in a quarter note, you two eighth notes or four 16th notes, and you work it through, and you'll figure all that out. And on top of the 16th notes, you also have 32nd notes and 64th notes. At the end of my little story, 64th notes are hemi-demi-semiquavers, and the 32nd notes are demi-semiquavers, and the 16th notes are semiquavers. So those are our units of currency, and we can use anything from 64ths to half notes to get the change for our whole note. And our whole note is worth 4 beats, our half note is worth 2 beats, our quarter note is worth 1 beat, i.e. a quarter of a whole note is 4 beats, eighth note half a beat, 16th note quarter of a beat. So you can see how that divides down on the diagram there. But how big are they? You know, that was my big question in timing, and it's kind of hinted at or brushed around or taken for granted that everybody will figure this out, but I didn't, not actually until a few weeks ago. And that is that there's a variable exchange rate for our notes, and the exchange rate is expressed in beats per minute. So the value of our notes goes up as well as down. So when you're investing in the time bank for your notes here, just be aware that the value of the notes go up and down according to the tempo market. And here we are. Your notes are valued in the tempo market, and here you see some some valuations. Quarter note equals 120 beats per minute. A quarter note equals 100 beats per minute. A half note equals 50 beats per minute there. Moderate rock, quarter note equals 120 beats per minute. So think of them, you know, your currency in your time signature is set out with the exchange rate in the metronome mark, usually at the top of the piece of music, or with some Italian name like Allegro for fast. 156 beats per minute is pretty fast. A quarter note is 156 beats a minute. Metronome mark, Mazel's metronome mark. The biggest metronome is in the world is in Prague. I haven't put a photograph here for you. You can look it up. It's on the site of Stalin's old statue, and that's the biggest metronome in the world. I've got my own little metronome here, which might be a familiar sight, and I'm going to demonstrate a bit later an online digital metronome, which is fantastic, known as the bounce metronome. So our notes are valued in the tempo market, and we value our notes according to this principle. how many, that's how many notes, of which kind, at which tempo, for how long. So how many is the top number on the time signature, of which kind is the bottom number on the time signature, at which tempo is the denotes a quarter note or a half note or whatever it is in the metronome mark at so many beats per minute. And so there you see it's a variable exchange rate. According to the tempo, the value of your notes in your piggy bank go up and down. Here's an example on a piece of music, heavy rock, 1/4 note equals 156 beats per minute. Okay, so let's work out how that's divided up here. Look at this first bit here, you've got 2/8 notes, an eighth and an eighth, which adds up to a quarter note, and then you've got another 3 groupings of these, so that gives you 4 quarter notes in all, because you've got 4 lots of 2/8 notes, and that equals 4 quarter notes. So there are 4 quarter note beats in that bar, and that's 4/4 time. And each quarter note is worth 156 over 60 seconds. So each quarter note is that long. I can't do that in my head, but 60 and 20. The 156 beats per minute. Quarter notes, 156 quarter note beats per minute. This is a 3/4 time signature, and I've worked out at the top of the page here. You can see how this one is calculated. There are 76 quarter note beats per minute. There are the quarter notes there, and there are 3 of each kind in each bar. So why does this add up to 3 quarter notes? Well, that's a quarter note, that's easy, we know that. This is a dotted quarter note, which means a quarter note and half as much again. Half of a quarter note is an eighth note, so that's a quarter and an eighth note, and this one here is an eighth note. So that eighth and that eighth together, 2/8 equals 1/4. You've got a quarter there, that's 2 quarters, and a quarter there, so that's 3 quarter notes in that bar, and each of those quarter notes is worth 60 seconds divided by 76, so there's 76 beats per minute, which is 60 seconds, and so that's how big each of those quarter notes is. So counting and strumming, bit we need our metronome, which I set at 60 beats per minute, just to keep to round numbers and keep it slow. You start slow and work up when you're practicing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, here's our whole note. So that's lasts for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, minim beats, they're half notes. In 4/4 time, if we strum the half notes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strumming on the crotchet notes of the quarter notes in 4/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got to wait for the metronome. Doing it slow, it's quite it takes quite a bit of discipline. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next up, strumming on the quaver beat or the 8th notes. So this is where you start getting your ups and downs. Here we go. This is another day strumming on 8th notes, which is where you get your ups and your downs. A metronome here, down there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Down, up, 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 down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that's strumming on the quarter notes. And then next we have the strumming a half bar of quarter notes and a half bar of 8th notes. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so if we put the metronome on, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 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 3 and 4 and one last thing, strumming and counting 16th notes. This example here, this is where you have the bar is divided into 8th notes and 16th notes. 1 and, 2 eana, 3 and, 4 eana. So obviously 1, 2, 3, 4 would be quarter notes. 1 and is an 8th note, is 8th notes. 1 and 2 eana, that would be 16 if you had 1 eana, 2 eana, 3 eana, 4 eana. So if we clap this one out just to practice, if you haven't got a guitar handy, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 eana, 3 and 4 eana.
Sweat
staves on the line, every green bus drives fast. The musical scale starts with C. At the bottom here, we don't have a stave, so we take a stick, put that down there. That's what they call a ledger line. C, C, D, E, every, F, G, every green bus drives fast. G, here we are on E. What comes under E? Here we are on D. Here we are in C. Here we are on B. Here we are in A. Here we are green, bus. Here we are on G. Here we are on F. Here we are on E. Every green bus drives fast. That's the stave. So, what other notes can we find in nature? Oh, this looks like a good note. Where should we put this note? Let's put this note on C. We can put it on C here, or we can put it on for face, F, A, C, or we can put it here, C. So let's take our note here, and it's a big round one. A big round one with a hole in the middle is a whole note. Let's make a hole in the middle. Make a hole in the middle. Just make it with sticks here like this. Ah, a whole note with a hole in the middle. That's a whole note. A whole note lasts for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How quick? For that we need beats per minute. A whole note with a hole in the middle, and a whole note is called a semi-breve. With a hole in the middle, with a stick, and that's called a minim, or a half note. A whole note with a hole in the middle, a whole note with a hole in the middle, but with a stick is a half note, a minim. If we get rid of the hole in the middle and cover in the note so that the note is all, there's no hole, it's all covered in. So that's a black note now, a black note with a stick. That's a quarter note. A quarter note lasts for 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a quarter note. Well, what's half of a quarter note? Half of a quarter note is an eighth note. So that we need a flag. So if we put a flag on the top here, that becomes a quaver, or an eighth note. An eighth note lasts for half a beat, and we count eighth notes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Half of an eighth note is a 16th note. Two flags. A whole note with the middle filled in, a stick, and two flags is a 16th note. That's right, that's a 16th note. Three flags is a 32nd note. Four flags, and that is a 64th note. Phew, that was hard work. Oh. Oh, I've got notes on my t-shirt too. Oh look, they're quarter notes. I've got a treble clef, quarter note, F, A, C, E. That's a A, that's a C. I think that's the ledger line, like we made with the stave. Let's go and see what other notes we can find in the garden. And a hole in the middle. That's a whole note. And a whole note lasts for 4 beats, as we said. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If that's hollow, if we see that as a whole note with a hole in the middle, with a stick, that is a half note, or a minim. Let's see what else we can find. Well, it looks like we're in luck. It looks like the pile of sticks had a party last night. The music is still in the air. What's this one? I've got a basketball. So that's a full round bit at the bottom. We've got a stick. And what's that fork telling us? Well, that's 4 flags. That was a 64th note. I expect that was a fast song. You can imagine all the sticks dancing around very quick to 64th notes. What's happening up here? Oh, the frisbee was having a dance as well. What's the frisbee doing? Ah, well, he's a coloured in round bit at the bottom, and then a stick with no flags. He's a quarter note. And then what have we got up here? Ah, we've got some trampoline springs here. And what are they made with the watering can hose? Ah, 3 flags, those 3 springs. Well, that's a 32nd note, a stick and a coloured in one. See what fun you can have making notes with things you find in your garden. There are notes everywhere in nature. Hear that? Whoo, whoo, whoo. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Here comes the car. He's a big long note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the car's a whole note. Well, that's all from Notes in Nature this week. I've got a lot of wood to chop. I wonder what tunes I'll be whistling with the birds. Welcome to this video on the noteness of notes, or rhythm, tempo, time, notes, etc. Notes get their value from a combination, as you can see on the screen here, of beats per minute, the type of note that the beats per minute are based on, and then the divisions of that note into fractions of itself. So the notes have a kind of a floating exchange rate. On this example on the screen here, 1 quarter note equals 60 beats per minute, and how that gets divided is in each measure there are 4 quarter notes. So the type of notes on the bottom of the time signature here, so that's which kind. The top note is how many, so there's 4 here, 4 quarter notes at 60 beats per minute, which means that each beat lasts for 1 second and each bar lasts for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we put the metronome on, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we just stop that, I have a metronome here. Now, working with a metronome, or working with bounce metronome, this is excellent by the way, bounce metronome. It's free for the taster version, which I have here, and then there's a professional version which you can do all sorts of 3D animations with different different things going on. Take a look at the website, you'll see all of that. It's a wonderful tool. But if I just set this metronome here to 60 beats per minute, there we are. Now, working with a metronome where you haven't got it sort of graphically for you, you get this to work with. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, actually, when you're just using the click as a beat, that's fairly self-explanatory. It gets more difficult to envisage what to do with the click. If you want to then divide your bar down, still in 4/4 time, but actually strumming your 8th notes. which on the screen looks like this. Here you can see beat, quarter notes and eighth notes, which gives us 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and as you can see that divides the bar up into 8 divisions. They're eighth notes, but you still have 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the bounce metronome, if we just take that first, so that introduces strumming that. Now, just by way of contrast, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got your pulse there, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you have to put your hands in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you have to sort of get that evenness yourself by practicing. I actually find it much easier to practice with the bounce metronome than with the regular metronome. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. See, I've got out of sync with it there already. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... So here we are, let's try it with a guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, so let's just try this again. So you can see how that works. So that's how many how many, 4, of which kind, quarter notes, at which speed or tempo, quarter notes equal 60 beats per minute. And if you count that in eighth notes, there are 128 notes in a minute. So that will sound faster, but the beats per minute, or the metronome mark, denotes the pulse, which is the accented beat. And so on there you'll notice I was accenting the 1, or on occasion I was accenting the 1 and also the 3. So that's strumming straight quarter notes in 4/4 time at 60 beats per minute. So we can change that tempo, see how it sounds. Let's take it at 90. That's 90. I'll put this on 90 as well. It's about 90. And there we are. Start off just with the quarter notes. 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can then look at doing that as eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so let's get the pulse. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and and it's a question of practicing that for basically for a long period of time, so you get your strum kind of into your bones, as it were. Stop that now. So that's doing eighth notes. If we drop back to 60 again, and have a look at 16th notes. Now 16th notes, there are, you can see on the bottom here, 1, 2, 3, 4 16th notes in a quarter note, and so to count the 16th notes, it's 1 E and A 2, so that's 4 subdivisions of the quarter note. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. So if you do that for a whole bar, it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. That's a 16th note strum. So your 16th notes are actually going at 360 beats per minute, which is has that not changed? there we are. At 90 it would have been 360. 490s are 360. 60 beats per minute is 240, which is still very quick. So let's 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a down up 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 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So if you do practicing slowly and working up, I mean, you might, to get those eighth notes, want to just take the beats per minute right down to 30 beats, like so. 4, 4 time. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E So you can see how the note that gets the beat is the accented beat, which is the quarter note in this case, and you can divide that quarter note up however you please, and if you divide it into bigger notes, i.e. half notes or whole notes, it will be slower, and if you divide it into smaller notes, you can fit more of them in, and therefore it will feel faster. On this video I'm not going to do the other way of dividing them, which is triplet eighth notes, which are counted 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and where you have 3 eighth notes squeezed into the space of a quarter note, and that gives a triplet feel. Just moving then on to just re-emphasising this point of how big the notes are, you can change the note that gets the beat. The best way to do that is to knock it 6/8 time, and you'll see that in 6/8 time the note that gets the beat is an eighth note, and this note here in the metronome mark has changed to an eighth note in straight. So in 6/8 time you have dotted quarter notes and eighth notes in this strum pattern. A dotted quarter note is a quarter note plus half as much again, that's an eighth. So so that makes the 3/8 notes. Dotted quarter notes, eighth notes and 16th notes, that's that division, which starts getting into more complicated theory about how in 6/8 notes you get these dotted eighth notes cropping up, which really we don't want to get into that too much. 6/8 is counted here, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and that's counting the 6/8 notes, 1 and 2. So which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1. So you can see that's an eighth note, an eighth note. So 6/8 notes. So eighth notes. What we're dealing with, there are 6 in a bar, and in this example that would be at 30 beats per minute. Let's just put it up to 60 beats per minute and have a listen to how it sounds. Essentially, you know, the obvious question is what's the difference between that and 3/4 time? Well, the answer to that is very little in effect, but it's a question of feel. So certain time signatures tend to be associated with different different types of music. 3/4 is known as waltz time, so that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a bit more swayy, whereas 6/8 is a bit more sort of kind of laid back and jazzy, I guess you'd say. And I think that's it for the bounce metronome for this, yes. People usually say the quarter note gets the beat. Now, for me, that never actually meant anything. The bumper sticker of what we're doing here is actually, if you think about this, how many of which kind at what tempo or speed. When you have those 3 bits of information, you can understand then any time signature. So in 4/4, which we have here, the top number tells you how many you have of each kind. The bottom one is which kind, so that's quarter notes. So you've got 4 quarter notes in each bar. Well, that still doesn't tell you how big they are, or what that means. So you have to look at the metronome mark, or the directions for playing, which here we've got a quarter note equals 60 beats per minute. So now this bit of the screen down here actually shows us what that means. 60 quarter note beats every minute, so 60 quarter notes each minute. There are 4 quarter notes each bar, which means that each quarter note will last for 1 second, which means that each bar is 4 seconds long, and therefore in each minute you'll actually have 15 bars by this estimation. So, and then those four quarter notes add up to a whole note. So that's how many? That's 4. There are 4 beats of which kind? Quarter notes, and there are 60 quarter note beats per minute. So in 4/4 time, that will sound like this: 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Strumming that will be 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that's the basic skinny on this.